Is this 2024 limited edition bourbon from Maker's Mark really better than this 2024 limited edition Costco special barrel pick from Makers? We got the Heart Release versus the Lost Recipe. About to find out. Hey everyone, I'm Tim, the Suburban Dad. Thanks for joining me today. I was not impressed with this year's wood finishing series from Maker's Mark, the Heart Release. It just fell flat. It was very light on flavor, very thin. It just didn't cut it. I have very high hopes for the Lost Recipe, which is technically a private barrel selection, but it's from Costco. Now, the Lost Recipe, the reason it's called that is it uses roasted French mocha staves as part of the stave profile. I'm really excited about this bottle because the notes from the roasted French mocha are coffee, dark chocolate, and dried fruit. Sounds amazing. A little bit about Maker's Mark. What's interesting about them is they use the same mash bill for all of their bourbon. And that mash bill is 70% corn, 16% wheat, and 14% malted barley. However, if you tried more than a couple of their expressions, you will quickly realize they have very different tastes to them. Now, the Heart Release uses 10 virgin French toasted oak staves. I remembered all that. Whereas the Lost Recipe uses a private selection barrel stave profile. It's got 1 baked American Pure 2, 3 seared French Cuvée, 0 Makers 46, 6 roasted French mocha, and 0 toasted French spice. Now what's interesting, this bottle uses toasted French oak staves. This uses seared French Cuvée, and there's roasted and there's toasted. So there's several different treatments of staves that Maker's Mark uses. They use the same mash bill, but they use different stave types and treatments to get different flavor profiles. Now, if you've watched much of my videos, I'm not huge on finished bourbons or whiskeys. There are some good ones, but a lot of them are just hype. I'm a big fan of what Maker's Mark has been able to achieve. They don't use other types of spirits or alcohol barrels to finish them in. They simply use different types of wood and different treatments of those wood staves. They might use the exact same type of wood, but just toast it or char it at different levels or age it for different lengths of time to get a very different result. All right, enough chit chat. I need to get some whiskey. All right, so this is the Heart Release. I've already tried this one. It's rather disappointing. I've even come back to it and was still disappointed. This, I'm cracking open for the first time, the Lost Recipe. Yo, geez, that was a tough one. Whoa, that was a serious cork pop. Now, there was a slight debacle, at least here in St. Louis area, with this Lost Recipe release because it got sent out to non-Costco liquor stores. We had local liquor stores selling this, even though it was supposed to be a Costco-only release. That was interesting. The Heart Release is exactly 112 proof. This one is 111.9 proof, so a pretty even comparison. I've seen the Heart Release retail for anywhere from about $50 once it was released here in Missouri, all the way up to 90 plus, and this one was about 60 bucks at Costco. Now, I'll revisit the Heart Release first. The nose is pretty darn good. It's got some fruit in it, sugary sweet notes, brown sugary maple on the palate. There is some sweetness, there's a little bit of spice. Mapley chocolate, like their tasting notes are pretty on point for this one. Maple, chocolate, caramel. But it's just very light. Okay, for 112 proof, for a wood finishing series from Makers, I expect it to be a lot more robust. Okay, so I'll cleanse my palate a little bit. Obviously, I'm not doing a blind taste today because honestly, I think there's going to be a big enough difference where it's not even going to be close. Now, for the Lost Recipe, more darker, woodier, oaky, more caramel, some spice in there. Let's try it. Okay, so not earth-shatteringly different. It's a little bit more rich and robust, but not worlds apart. Okay, just a couple streets over from this neighborhood. You get a lot more of a rich silky mouthfeel. The mouthfeel is where it's the biggest difference. This is like caramel chocolate covered cherries. So they both got the caramel chocolate profile going on. This one shines through with a little bit more of a fruit note. Between the two, I definitely like this one better, but they're not as different as I expected going into this. So between the two, yes, definitely a bigger fan of the Lost Recipe. It was a lot cheaper. It's gone though. I mean, they're not going to release it again, and this French Mocha Stave is one that's retired, technically. The Heart Release is the second chapter of the wood finishing series, volume 1 of 5, so there's 4 others coming out over the next few years. The Lost Recipe, all I know is that it says edition 1. I would expect there's going to be more, but I'm unfamiliar with any other retired staves from Maker's Mark, so I'm not sure what direction this is going in. I'll be curious to see. Now here's the fun thing about roasted French mocha. If a store has previously ordered a private barrel that has French mocha in it, you can still order that same profile, so it'll be the exact same thing you've had before, but it'll still use the French mocha. You just can't have any new barrel picks with French mocha in it. Fun fact. Now this one I don't think you'll be able to find anywhere other than tucked in the back of Costco or a random liquor store around St. Louis, but if you're looking for the Heart Release, check out fruitbat.com to get your hands on a bottle there. Have you had the Heart Release and or the Lost Recipe? What were your thoughts? Are you a Maker's Mark fan? What do you think of their finishing techniques compared to other finished whiskeys? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.